Now, to take another look at the economy, 57 years on, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by an economist and the CEO of UHY Maji, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you.
So we're trying to gauge the performance of this economy in the last 57 years in terms of the potentials that we had and where we find ourselves now.
Well, the potentials have always been there. Even pre-colonial times, the potentials were there. They were recognized by our colonial masters. So we became major producers of several agricultural products. And at independence, we had a base given to us by the colonial administration to grow these products, from palm oil to rice to cotton and cocoa. And we started well at the beginning, but shortly after that we found oil, and everybody got very, very well soaked or drunk in oil that we thought agriculture had gone out of fashion, that we had enough dollars to buy whatever rice we wanted to buy or whatever textile products we wanted to buy. And so we lived in that illusion for a couple of years until we found that we have to now go back to agriculture.
So now fast forward and to now that we now know that oil wasn't all that, and we're now trying to diversify the economy. Are you satisfied with the attempts that you see from at least the past two administrations to diversify the economy?
Yes, in the last two administrations there was concrete action, not just rhetoric. We've always had rhetoric. Every government in Nigeria wanted to diversify agriculture, wanted to make agriculture the driver of the economy. But in the last two administrations, there were specific actions taken to address the question, to say, for example, we should be able to produce enough rice, and take the actions that will follow it, and put government support, and then mobilize private sector. The private sector bought into it, and we can see what has happened with rice production. We are on the way to self-sufficiency. And then you look at, say, if it's cassava, you see concrete actions in a number of products.
But let me just draw your attention to that. Even though you do talk about the concrete action and the fact that we're getting there, the income of many households is still shrinking. It's never been as bad as it is. We still have rising food prices, joblessness, population. So what can we do about the disenchantment in the state we find ourselves in? Which is, I know it's nice when you hear the economists talk about positive figures and all, but it doesn't reflect, and we have been where we are for quite a while.
The big picture for that, of course, is that the population is growing at 3% all the time. We are growing at 3%. At some point, we were growing, the economy itself was growing at 7%. Then it went into a recession. We started growing at -2, -3. Now we are trying to go back to grow at 0.55%. But in all of that, the population was growing. So that's the dilemma. You say, oh, the economy is growing well. There is statistics says, but for every 1% growth, in economy, there was a 2% additional growth in population. So you don't really see the wonderful figures from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics on your table, because you have many more mouths to struggle for the extra rice that you are producing, or the extra whatever additional cotton or palm oil that you are producing. So there has to be a stage at which what we produce from agriculture is conserved, is processed, and is converted to actual income. Because it is not just the production at the farm that you find on your table. The products have to move from the farm, processed into food, preserved until the day we want to eat it.
All right, economist and CEO of UHY Maji, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, thank you for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight.